have a phone call.
All
We're
right.
so excited.
Our first
Yay.
U.S. Championship phone call.
All right. Yeah, hello.
Doing a great job as usual. Jennifer, love the blonde streak. Looking hot there.
Thank you. Where are you from?
I'm John Cordisco from upstate New York. My question was, since there was so much controversy in the FIDE candidates final and tiebreak system, what is the tiebreaks in the U.S. Women's and the U.S. Open Championship?
Thank you, Jack. A wonderful question. I'm very, very proud to say we play playoffs.
Thank goodness. Because especially in a round robin, it's very important, in my opinion, not to use math tie breaks unless you're really constrained by the scheduling of the tournament.
Exactly.
Sometimes you really have very few choices. Even then, I prefer some kind of Armageddon,
Blitz, anything.
15-minute, anything, because it's a round robin. You all play the same players, especially in the candidates. It's even worse because you don't even have different colors.
Exactly. It's a double round robin. I mean, you know, I can believe the head-to-head matchup in the candidates as being the first tiebreaker. That makes a little sense to me. Thereafter, playoff.
Yes, exactly. I don't even think the head-to-head, but I like the playoff. Of course, I felt a little bit more strongly about it because it was our guy.
Oh boy.
It's one of those things I didn't even if Avi had benefited from it, you would have asked me and I would have said I didn't like the idea, but I would be like, well, let's take it. You know, I mean, let's take the spot.
Right.
But especially since he was being damaged by it, it was particularly painful.
Yes.
Because it felt kind of unjust, even though they knew the rules in advance. Maurice.
Thank you again to Jack for that great question.
I got to say, even if it was our guy, just personally, I think that fair play says playoffs. Come on, whoever decides the entire event on some tiebreak system, that's just completely ridiculous. Maybe when you're in the initial stage trying to get to the playoffs, trying to get to the finals, but the entire event based on tiebreaks, that's completely ridiculous. I think it was absolutely unfair, and I'm glad we're not.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. One of my favorite tournaments, being from the United States, the U.S. Chess Championship 2016. This is round one action. As white, my buddy, Carl Nakamura, and as black, Alexander Lenderman. I talked briefly a couple years ago with Alex. He's an interesting character. Let's get to it because this is a beautifully played game. It's going to be an open Catalan. Nakamura is white, Lenderman is black. We'll go through the opening a little bit here. I don't usually go into detail on openings. Pawn takes. Bishop, whoops, castles, bishop b7, and b3. That's pretty much buck. It's got a tiny advantage for black on the computer off screen, but I really don't buy it. I kind of like white here. What I don't like is the fact that black is very underdeveloped. Granted, the rook's a little early for the rooks, but look at the pieces here. We'll see how this goes. C takes. Queen takes, bishop b7. Now, I'm sure these guys are still in their preparation. I have no doubt of that. Knight e5. That's a good knight there. a6. That one I don't understand. Now, that is one of the choices on the computer. They're all pretty close, the first three moves. Queen to b6 being the first. Not as good is queen taking the pawn, and I'll show you why. After knight that takes, queen takes, the bishop hits the queen. Queen takes, c takes, the bishop takes. And white's in very good shape there. Going to win back that rook. After a6, rook to d1, castles. Now, Alex Lenderman's a pretty solid player. He's no chump. He's rated over 2,600, but Carl is close to 28. In the next few moves here, you're going to see really, really good play by Carl. Knight e4, queen c7, knight goes to g5, a5. I don't understand the pawn move. Bishop d6 maybe. Bishop h3. Looking at some tactical threats here with knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes in the future. A4, hitting the queen. Queen goes to C2. Bishop C8. Right back to where it originally came from. So we have both the minor pieces. This knight's still on its original square. Bishop F4. Queen has to move again. It just seems that Lenderman's just reacting to Nakamura. Knight G4. G6. As you saw the threat there, the threat was knight takes. And then queen mates. So G6 to stop that. Knight takes, bishop takes. Knight to E4. Bishop goes back to G7. So it looks like black has solved this problem. But I look at the underdevelopment. It only gives a 1 point advantage for white, and I'm really surprised because should be more. Bishop G2. Queen B6. The bishop. Rook moves. Queen A to C1. Here comes the heavy firepower. Queen goes back to D8. So we had the knight on its original square. We had the bishop on the original square. And the queen back on its original square. Not much hope here. And this knight is stuck guarding this pawn. Bishop C5. Bishop A6. And slowly the noose starts to tighten. Bishop F4. Excuse me, B4. Queen. D5. E takes. Knight D6. Very nice indeed. Queen D7. Takes the rook. Queen takes. E4. Now, those of you keeping track, it's a knight and 2 pawns for a rook. D4. Computer likes bishop C5, but I like Carl's choice. E5. H5. Give you an idea of what would have happened if queen had taken. A bishop takes. It's basically over. After H5, F4, it's almost a 3-point advantage now. And there's that knight still on B8. Look at that bishop on A6. Alex is a better player than this. Carl just turn the screws and just turn the screws until there's nowhere to go. Rook takes. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. Bishop C8. Rook comes over. Bishop comes up. You take the only space the knight can go to, of any good. Rook to D6. And it's just horrible here. Queen takes. Queen takes. Queen F5. Bishop C3. Nice. Very nice indeed. Queen comes over. Rook F1. Computer has mate in 7, but queen takes, rook takes. And that's where Alex Lenderman resigns. To give you an idea. Bishop F5. Rook takes. King moves. I mean, you're down to full rook. We'll go through. It's just, there's no point in continuing. Well done by Carl. Made it look easy, being a 2,600 plus player. So, after round 1, Carl Nakamura with 1 win. Look for other action from this great tournament. And look on the St. Louis Chess Club's Classic Center website, as well as their YouTube channel for all the action. Also, look, I did do a call-in question on this round, so see that at the beginning of the video. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.